Assalamu alaikum. Hello, my dear students. How are you all? I hope you are doing very well. Okay, welcome to another science class. I am your science teacher, Imti Jahidul Hassan. Today, our topic is tissue. Yes, the plant and animal tissues. And this topic belongs to the chapter 2, lesson 6 to 11. Okay, so what is tissue? Uh, Tissue is nothing but a group of cells. Okay, and we already studied the structure and function of the cell in our previous lecture. Okay, so tissue is a group of cells that are similar in structure and origin and perform similar functions. So here we see tissue is a group of cells, and the cells that belongs to this group, they are they have they have three similarities. Okay, first one, they're similar in their structure. That means they are almost similar in their shape and size. Okay, then they are similar in their origin. That means they have similar type of parent cells. Okay, and the most importantly, this group of cells, they have similar functions. They have same or similar type of roles. Okay, in an organism's body. For example, the cells uh, of the muscular tissue in human beings, all the cells in a muscular tissue, they contract and relax to bring the movement. And the cells in the nerve tissue, all of them actually carry messages. So in a specific tissue, all of its cells has a specific and similar type of functions. Okay, so see here in this figure, cells make tissue, tissues then make organ, and organs make organ system. Okay, and organ systems then make a whole organism. Here the organism is human. Okay, so now let's learn some importance of tissue. The first one, mm, division of labor in multicellular organisms. So mm, all the works in a body are distributed among all the tissues. Okay, then another importance is tissues organized to form organs, and organs into organ systems, so it provides a systematic hierarchy. And then another importance is workload of individual cell has decreased. Okay, then the higher efficiency can be achieved due to the tissue system. Okay, now let's talk about the plant tissues. Okay, so depending on the capacity of cell division, the plant tissues are actually classified into two types. Okay, the plant tissues are actually two types depending on their cell division. Okay, so yeah, the first one is the meristematic tissue, and the another one is the permanent tissue. Okay, the first one, the meristematic tissue, tissues whose cells have the ability to divide. Okay, the cell whose cells have the ability to divide are called meristematic tissue. Okay, so meristematic tissues actually we divide or we classified the plant tissues according to their cell division capabilities. That's why the meristematic tissue, they're able to divide. The first one, cells have the ability to divide. And usually these type of meristematic tissues in the plant, they're found in the developing region of the plant. Okay, especially at the apical region, and apical region of the stem, and also the apical region of the root. Okay, they are also found in the lateral areas. Here the lateral areas, this here in the lateral areas of the plant stem. Okay, the lateral areas of the plant stem. Okay, so meristematic tissue, the cells of the meristematic tissues are small and the cell walls are very thin, because they have to divide, they have to reproduce. And then cells, the meristematic tissue cells have large nuclei, and their vacuoles are absent or very small, and there are no intercellular spaces, okay, between the cells in the meristematic tissue. And okay, now let's learn some functions of meristematic tissue. The first one, they give rise to new cells and tissues, um, and then they increase the height and diameter of plants by forming new tissues. Okay, so now the another type of plant tissue is the permanent tissue. Okay, so cells of these tissues have no power of division actually. And interestingly, these tissues are derivatives of meristematic tissue. Okay, so permanent tissues actually it derives from the meristematic tissue. Okay, and the cell wall of the permanent tissue is comparatively thick than the meristematic tissue because several substances deposition occurs here at the cell wall, and the vacuoles of the permanent tissue cells are prominent. They're very large in size. And now the functions of the permanent tissue, the production and transportation of food. They produce and transport the foods, the wastages, the nutrients all over the body, and they also construct the body, and they provide the strength of the plant. Okay, now from this slide we are talking about animal tissues. Okay, depending on the nature of work, animal tissues are four different types. Okay, four different types. The first one, epithelial tissue, then connective tissues, muscular tissue, nervous tissue. Okay, so let's talk about the epithelial tissue. So the epithelial tissue actually is the covering or protective tissue in the animal body. Actually, all types of covering in an animal body made of epithelial tissue. So the external layer of our skin and the internal layer of our body, glands of the body are made of epithelial tissues. Okay, and the cells of this tissue are tightly packed, and it forms a continuous sheet. Okay, see here in this figure, the cells of this tissue are tightly packed. They remain adjacently together, and epithelial tissues are arranged in one or more strata. See, and the strata means layers. Okay, so here you see so many layers, and all cells of the epithelial tissues are arranged on a thin foundation membrane, or base membrane. Here, this one is the base membrane or thin foundation membrane, and on this thin foundation or base membrane, all the layers of the epithelial tissue is stacked uh, one by one, one by one. Okay, so this type of tissue do not have any intercellular matrix. Okay, here the intercellular matrix is a substance consists of fiber, glycoprotein, protein, tissue fluid. Usually found this type of intercellular matrix they found inside the cells. Okay, but here in the case of epithelial tissue, they do not have this type of intercellular matrix. Okay, so now what are the functions of the epithelial tissue? The first one is the protection. Epithelial tissues, the cells of the epithelial tissue actually they protect the underlying body organs from mechanical and chemical injuries. Okay, and bacterial and viral infection. So then, the number one function of the epithelial tissue is the protection, and it also covers most organs. So and it keeps body different body systems separate. Okay, and another important function of the epithelial tissue is absorption. It absorbs water and nutrients Okay, and also elimination, it eliminates waste products. And another one is the secretion. Some of the epithelial tissue, they secrete saliva, sweat, their body fluids, tissue fluids, etc. And now, okay, now the another type of animal tissue is the connective tissue. Okay, so the connective tissue is specialized to connect and anchor actually various body organs, and it establishes connection between organs, between organ systems. Okay, so these tissues mainly solid, liquid, or fatty, such as blood, is the liquid connective tissue, and then cartilage, bones, they're the solid connective tissue, and the fatty tissues are the fatty fat or lipid connective tissue. Okay, so now, here you see this is the figure of blood, liquid connective tissue, blood. These are the red blood cells, and this one is the white blood cell, and this one is this one is a lymphocyte. Okay, so mm now let's learn some functions of connective tissues. Connective tissues actually they provide mechanical support, okay, such as bone and cartilage, they form the skeleton, okay, of our body, and then they binds other tissues like bone, cartilage, they provide the frame of the body, and they also store oils and fats. Okay, mm, and they carries various substances from one part to another in the body, like blood, such as blood, it carries nutrients, enzymes, hormones, wastes from our one part to another part in the body. And another important function of this connective tissue, especially the liquid connective tissue, that means the blood, they are concerned with the body defense. Okay, because um, this blood, our blood, or animals blood, actually they carries different types of immune cells, such as white blood cells, lymphocytes, macrophages, and these things actually protect us, protect animals from bacteria, virus. And when bacteria, virus enters into the body, these immune cells uh, mm, destroy those bacteria and viruses. Okay, so the third type of animal tissue is muscular tissue, and muscular tissue actually they constitutes all the muscles of the body of an animal. Okay, so cells are elongated and large sized, and so they are called muscle fibers. See, this is the cardiac muscle, skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and all of their cells are uh, mm, thread-like structure. Their shape is a fiber-like shape. That's why they are called muscle fibers. And the muscle contain special proteins called contractile proteins. Because of these contractile proteins, muscle can contract. Okay, and there are two types of muscular tissue. One is voluntary muscles, and another one is involuntary muscles. Okay, we can contract and expand these muscles, these voluntary muscles, according to our will. Okay, and these voluntary muscles make our organs move. Okay, and the involuntary muscles, the opposite of these voluntary muscles, that means these muscles do not contract at our will. Okay, here you see this cardiac muscle, and the smooth muscle, they're the involuntary muscles. Okay, because they do not contract according to our choice, according to our wish. Okay, and here the skeletal muscle, this is the voluntary muscle, because it can contract according to our wish. Okay, okay, now what are the functions of muscular tissue? They give shape of the body, and they are also responsible for the movement and locomotion of the body, and it protects the internal organs, internal sensitive organs, and the heart muscles help in blood circulation in the body. So Okay, now let's talk about the fourth type of animal tissue, and this is nerve tissue. Okay, this nerve tissue, they specialized to transmit messages in our body. Okay, brain, spinal cord, and nerve cells, nerves, all are composed of nerve tissue actually. Okay, nerve tissue contains highly specialized unit called unit cells called nerve cells or neurons. Okay, mm, and do you know how many neurons are there in a human brain? Yes, this number 86 billions. Okay, that means 9 zeros after 86. This huge number of neurons actually, mm, so our human brain, mm, it has so many neurons. Okay, let's learn some functions of nerve tissues. It receives impulses from different sense organs of the body and then send impulse to the brain. Okay, and the active parts of the body then respond to that stimuli. Um, Such as when mosquito bites, this stimulus is sent to the brain, and then brain informs the hand, and hand then tries to kill the mosquito. So mm, how so and then uh, the another function of this nerve tissue is storage of the stimuli or incidents in the memory. Actually, these characteristics makes humans unique and superior than all other animals. Okay, and another function is coordinate among different physiological activities of the body. Okay, it coordinates among all organs, like it regulates our respiration rate, heartbeat rate, all things in our body. Okay, now let's talk about the basic structure of a neuron. All neurons have actually three basic parts. Okay, here the number one, this is the cell body of a neuron, and it contains the nucleus and all other organelles. And these are the dendrites. These are the dendrites. This branch-like extension of cytoplasm and cell membrane. It and then it actually what is the function of these dendrites? They receive messages from the neighboring cells, from the adjacent neurons. Okay, and the third one, this is the axon. Okay, the long extension that carries signal away from the cell body. Then it axon, this is the long extension and that carries signal away from this cell body to another neuron. Okay, and it passes message to other cells. So now it's time to do some homework. uh, you have to draw the diagram of a plant cell and animal cell, and you have to draw the diagram of a neuron, and you have to differentiate between plant and animal cells, and also the meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Okay, I think this is all for today. Thank you all. Stay home, stay safe. Okay.